Something very important to talk about today: snakes. Whether they're your thing or they're not, hot temperatures means your chances of one slithering your way are definitely higher. So joining me today is Dr. Walker Plash, an emergency physician at USA Health. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So my first question to you, are there a lot of snake bites in this area?
There's a decent amount. There's not a ton. In general, snakes want to avoid people, so as long as you're not messing with them, usually they don't bite you or mess with you.
Okay. So my second question, I guess you could say now, is where do you usually see them? I was out over the weekend and we came across a black snake. It was probably about that long. Outside, thank goodness.
Yes.
But where do you normally find them?
So normally, a lot of times it's in like really tall grass or really thick underbrush. Anywhere they can kind of hide or conceal themselves. In general, they're hunting for prey, so anywhere they can hide and not be seen is the big.
How do you know if a snake is venomous or not? Can you tell by looking at it?
So you can. There's a couple of different ways, but in general, all the ways of telling kind of require you to get pretty close to them.
And we don't want to do that.
No, so if in doubt, just treat them all like they're venomous, and that's the safest thing.
Okay, so we talk about the best way, to avoid a snake bite is to just not get one, but is that really possible? How do you do that?
Yeah, I think the big things are kind of like we said, knowing where they are. So trying to avoid the thick underbrush, the tall grass, and if you are going in those areas trying to make a lot of noise, then they don't like to be, they don't want to interact with people any more than we want to interact with them. So if they know you're coming, they'll leave, kind of looking where you're putting your hands and trying to step like on rocks and logs, not over them, because sometimes they'll be hiding behind them to catch prey.
Okay. And what happens if you are bitten by a snake? Is that, where you like suck out? Do you really do that?
No.
Okay.
That is one of the things that we see lots of people talk about and see in lots of movies and stuff too. But in general, don't cut an X over it. Don't try to suck the venom out. Don't try to put a tourniquet on or anything like that. The most important thing is just remove anything that's tight wherever you got bitten. So if you're bit on the hand, removing any rings, jewelry, stuff like that. And then you can try to avoid using that extremity. So if you have we're bit on the arm, like wear a sling or something like that to try to avoid using it.
Now, are all venomous snake bites deadly?
No, most are not, especially if you come to the hospital. They're treated with anti-venom. Most people do well, but they most often cause kind of swelling and damage to the extremity that's bitten, but most are not deadly. And
we were talking before we came back from the commercial break, and you said, snakes are actually, they have a purpose.
Yeah, I think so. They get a bad rap,
but
in general, they keep rodent populations down. They kind of help with disease and that sort of stuff. So, I don't particularly want them in my house, but nearby, I don't mind having them around.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing this information, and hopefully we can avoid any snake bites this summer. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.